Getting ready for day 2, boys and girls, but unfortunately got some very sad news. This morning we discovered a dead water otter. Couldn't make it up, could you? Fucking hell. And consequently I've had to go and buy a new one for the girlies' toilets, which also involves, look at that fat bastard there, look. Also, oh, by the way, look at this mask, boys and girls. This is from gorgeous little Mona Lang over in Germany, and the hat is from gorgeous little Harry Brew 69 Christopher Harrison Hawks. Now, at some point in here, what I'm going to be doing is replacing all of this. So I'm only doing a cheap, crap, but safe replacement at the moment with a cheap one from City Electric. But I'm also going to put a water isolator on that, because none of these taps have got water isolators on them. That would be better if we could do that, thank you. And then eventually it's all going to be plumbed in properly with a proper water heater to provide mixer taps in all of the toilets. But all these toilets, the grand plan, I don't know if you know, is to, from here, there's me again, look at that fat bastard there. Look. There's a time when I could look down and see my glory, but this isn't it. So from this door right the way across, we've got a step here. So the grand plan eventually is to raise the floor properly and to have 2 non-sexed. I mean, that was just a bit of a laugh, really, because we saw that I don't know, somewhere where I think, can't remember, it might have been where my father-in-law's funeral, whatever it was, and so I decided to replicate it. And yes, I'm like, why am I wearing a mask inside, you fucking idiot? So we're going to have 2 toilets which are both unisex, fully accessible, so not disabled toilets. I don't like the idea of disabled toilets. I like the idea of having all facilities which are accessible to everyone, if that makes sense. I'm not against disabled toilets, sort of, oh, I don't know if you know what I mean. But eventually what I want here is 2 toilets which are both fully accessible to anybody with any particular need. And that includes visual impairment, physical impairment, with nice lighting, so it's not overly cluttered. So unfortunately, I think the Louvre Gallery, because sometimes overly cluttered toilets for people on the autistic spectrum can be a little bit intimidating. So things like, you know, the art that we've got on the walls and stuff can be a little bit intimidating. So try and make it more overly accessible for everybody. But first, I've got to replace this dead water otter. Did anyone think I was serious at the beginning? Sorry. I hope I haven't traumatised you. Here's one of my little annoyances. Just the one. Move these out of the way. I need a 15mm elbow. Now I've got a 15mm elbow, but it was attached to another piece of piping. I'm always a bit wary about reusing these, so I thought I would take the fittings off a new piece of Hep 2O. That's a Hep 2O-T. It's a Hep 2O elbow. Unfortunately, as you'll see, this has the O-ring, a grey plastic washer, and then the seal. The new has an O-ring, grey plastic washer, and then the grippy thing, and then a white piece. Now the difference between these two, I am not a plumber. If you have a look in there, that is a square base. In other words, this bit here is kind of square. You'll see what I mean when I show you the elbow. The elbow is not square, the elbow is tapered. So that is then to push in the grippy bit. So these two are different types of fitting. I don't know, and I'm going to need to measure the distance between the rim and then the taper, and then here the rim and the flatty bit. My guess is, in fact you can probably see, I don't even need to measure it, they are different. So two Hep2O fittings, two different types of forcing the pipe, retaining the pipe in there. I don't know whether they're compatible. I'm gonna guess that they're not, because I think if I put the fittings from this one into this one, don't know, I might just try it without the spacer. I hate it when this happens, because there are things that I don't mind pissing around with. Gas is not one of those things. Water is one of those things I'm kind of okay with buggering around, as long as I can get back to the stopcock quick enough. Electrics I know a fair bit about, so I'm alright with electrics. So I'm on my borderline here with plumbing, in that I can turn the stopcock off. Now, is that merely replicating? Can we prop that on there for a minute? Oh, you bastard. I'm not a filmmaker either, or a plumber. Is that replicating that? I don't know. I'm going to try putting these fittings in without the white spacer. I think that's just replicating the taper on here. If it doesn't work, I can always turn the water off. Realistically, it's a bit shit compared to the other one, and of course it doesn't fit the same footprint, so it will need redecorating. But for a works hand wash in a works bog, it's alright. All this is going to get changed if we're going to turn this into some sort of venue bog. And I'd like, yeah, I do like the idea of getting rid of that for a start, and taking some of the artwork. I don't know how I'm going to hang. I said artwork. Did I just say artwork? Fucking hell! I'm turning into a Ponzi artist. Turning some of the stuff into a bit of a better gallery somehow. But I want to have nice, accessible, not gender defined, not ability defined restrooms, as my American friends always say, restroom. So that will be, but it, as I say, it's going to need new floor to bring the floor up to this level, bigger doors, properly accessible, proper nice sinks, nice mirrors, nice lighting, just nice restrooms. Whew, and then better start doing something to the rest of this if we are going to turn it into a venue. I think we are going to turn it into a venue. That's where the stage usually is, when it's not covered in boxes ready to send stuff out and whatever. Oh, and t-shirts. Did I ever mention that t-shirt? Thanks to certain friends in America for that t-shirt. But this is really now getting to the stage where the purple truck's going to go. That's going to become, we're going to build a, Oh, sorry. Fucking hell. Build a 2-story, maybe 3-story container building there. Might have to move the outside aircon unit and the chimney, but that's not used anymore. So this will be possibly a 3-story container, 14-foot containers. I'll have them cut down to my size. I'll probably buy a 20 and a 40 and then cut them down and then stack them up there. So that'll be the brewery, a tiny house, and a cool ship and storage up at the top. This is the plan when we move on there. You're right, mate. That's Delilah's old man. Just thought I'd show you, because someone sent me a thing saying how much bigger are those 100 litre compared to the 50 litre. Well, they're twice the size, but they're not twice the height, if that makes sense. They're like me, a little bit more portly, but these are I've pulled kegs out of the canal better than this. I really should have checked these, or I should have gone up with Mark, but anyway, I think they'll be alright. I hope Chris's are alright. I'll probably try and knock that out. If it has impugned the integrity, it won't matter especially much if I use that as the HLT, maybe, but I am going to try and knock some of the dents out and polish them up. But as you can see, size wise, they're not a great deal taller, they're just portly, so they'll probably go on here all right. I'm going to need to sort of check the integrity of this, make sure to deal with the weight, and I'm also going to need to possibly extend it at the ends a little bit, not a huge amount, just a tiny amount, and then I should get both of these on, so HLT and copper, and then I'm going to go for, I can't remember which one I said I was going to go for, the one in Wales. Guy in Wales, had a chat with him on the phone, sounds alright. I'm going to get an 80, or if he can do a 100 litre mash tun from him, and he's okay about fiddling around with different kind of light fittings. He does, his one that he does do has got a top. I'll write here on here on the screen who I'm talking about, but I want a side entry at the top for my sparge and for my sight glass, etc. He does a bottom takeoff, which then comes out, obviously, strangely enough, at the bottom. Wherever that is height wise is a bit irrelevant, because I can always, for this, it's going to come off here into the pump, and then the pump's going to have all of the switching on the output. Never switch the input on a pump on these type. They like to work under a little bit of load because they're magnetic. Anyway, that's that. All the pipe work, I'm going to try and arrange it so that it's good to swap between the 50 litre kit, well this isn't, it's really sort of like 25 litre kit, and the 100 litre kit, which isn't, it's really sort of like 80 litre kit, but so I can easily swap between the two. Got enough power in the control panel to manage that. That's not an issue. I've got a 40 going up there into a 32 outlet. 32 outlets, regardless of what anyone says, they are designed to take much more than 40. They're designed for the music industry, and the music industry, like, fucking hell, you wouldn't believe, well, you probably would. So that's where we're at the moment. We've resurrected the water otter, and I'm about now to replace my little burnt out element. So that'll be the next part of this video, if you haven't yet lost the will to live. So what we have in here is a 3 kilowatt element, and I made a hole in the bottom, popped it through, secured it all up. What I am going to do with this, as I did with the other one, is just bypass this, which is the thermal cutout. I don't need to, but it just means it's easier then for me to connect everything up. I then sealed this. This is a lid off of a deodorant bottle or something. So I made a hole in the side and then sealed all this with a heat resistant silicone sealant. So what I'm now going to try and do, I think the silicone sealant should easily remove from the lid, perhaps not from the stainless steel. So I now need to clear all this off to get access underneath to the wiring. So this will give you a basic idea of how I connected them. I took all this gubbins off and then I just soldered directly to the ends of the heating posts, and then obviously connected the earth here via this heat shielded earth cable. I think what I'm going to try and do then is I'll unscrew the earth and unsolder these. That doesn't look like the world's best soldering, but it's still there. So it's alright. Either that or I might just cut it all off and put a new... Yeah. Do you know what? Fuck that. I'm just going to cut it off and then take the broken element out. And there we have it. Now that's done a year and a tad, a year and a bit. What, year and 3 months, 2 months, something like that. So not bad. Next, I'm going to clear all of this rubber, silicone rubber off, and I'm going to try and make as good a job of it as possible by using some of this sealant remover. Get all that nice and clean. Take the gubbins off. I don't know, might not. I think I needed to bend those over so that I got enough clearance so it didn't protrude from bottom if you look across rim, if that makes sense. And then pop the new element in. Before we carry on, I'm going to open day 2, and the reason for that is if it's not one that I've got, it will need to go, come on you, it will need to go in fridge and cool down for later. Do you know what I've got? I've currently got an empty fermentation fridge upstairs. I could put this in. It's a bit of a waste of waste of electricity though. But right, so let's see if we can get this out. Oh, Chris, hang on, I know what to do. Because I'm a bit old with arthritic fingers, I'm going to use some assistance just to get it that far, and we won't... Oh no, hang on, what we got? We got a problem. Oh no, I shouldn't really have pulled on that. We've got a leak. Oh bugger, what have we got? We've got the porter, the plum porter. We've got a leaky plum porter. Shit, I shouldn't have pulled on it with that. Oh dear. Oh well. Do you know what? Plum porters don't really need to be effervescent. Carbonisation isn't really a big issue, so it can go in the fridge and I'll drink it anyway. And then think about ways of dealing with removal of cans in future. Now, if you're still watching, everybody, I've had a funk about this, and I don't know, whether I'm going to remove the thermal cutout. Now, the thermal cutout is there in the Burco boiler, so it doesn't just keep boiling and boiling and boiling. The reason I took it out last time was the distance between where it seats and here. I didn't know whether that was going to be too great to protrude further than the bottom. Let's have a look. Right, so we've got... Let me just zoom in. Oh God. One day you'll do this properly, won't you? So from there to there, we've got about 43 mil. That's a lot more than I actually thought. Even if we say 42 mil. Right, sorry, wavy aroundy. Got a sticky hand now from that porter. Right. So we've got, if we say 40 mil, that's good enough. I think I'm just going to put the new element in, and then of course I can just use spade connectors onto here and here, and then a little horseshoe connector onto the earth. Then of course I'm going to need to find another cap to put on, because obviously I broke this one while taking it off. But then I have another idea which I'll come back to in a bit. Oh, I won't, I'll do it now. One of these is going to be HLT. HLT, why don't I just put one of these in the HLT? I want to put the removable tri-clover fittings in the boiler for ease of cleaning, so I can take the elements out, and also if I do burn them out, they're only cheap from Screwfix, and it's something that Chris has done on his pilot kit. However, I can probably get away with just using one of those elements in the HLT. Right, what do you think? It's worth the investment. I'm going to put this, if it'll fit, I'm fairly sure it'll fit, in the fermentation fridge upstairs, and then I reckon I will just be able to use some pliers or something and gently lift. Oh fucking hell, come on, it's not doing it, is it? Hang on a second. Right, just, I don't know what, hang on, can I? Look at this standophone on it. And then, oh, everybody likes a challenge, boys and girls. I think these have fallen too far in. Right, and then somehow pull it out. Just, I won't obviously be able to get that all the way. You know, it'll be, see, look at what I've done. And then hike it out that way. But there's not a huge, is that showing? Nearly, isn't it? Yeah, it is showing. There's not a great deal of clearance. It's a very tight fit. The girth, the girth of the can, oops, sorry, come up here. The girth of the can almost perfectly fits the hole. Stop it. Right, I'll revisit that anyway, but that porter will be okay. That I've pulled the lid off a bit. I'll find a better way of doing it. Now, where did I put that lid? I found another lid. I'll just put it away somewhere. Most of the lids I've got are 45 mil deep, so I can't remember what this one was off, and there's no real indication on there to tell me. But if you have a look, I do believe I had to modify it. It looks like I've heated it around the rim, so it doesn't matter what size lid I use, I can always make it smaller. The next thing you see will be the element en situ. That means in place, Del Boy. Now, oops, sorry, here's something which this is looking down obviously inside the HLT, but look at the bottom here. This is calcium, and probably look, this is all those things that we add to the water treatment. But because I was getting ready to brew, so this means it's going to be necessary to clean the HLT out more often than I have done. Because there's an awful lot down there. Let's see if we can. So that's going to be like gypsum, calcium chloride, probably a bit of calcium sulfate. I would analyse it, but I can't be arsed. So in future, this is a warning for me that this will fuck up my water profile no end. So I'm going to need to be careful of that. I've just thought of another reason why I'm going to have to keep this upright. If I put it on its edge, as it was, inside is just cardboard dividers. Here, that's day 4. If I take that out, these 3 are just going to go thump. So I'm going to have to keep it upright. So I might as well, if I'm going to keep it upright, put it in the fermentation fridge upstairs. That's a shame to have a whole case of ice cold ready beer. Doesn't matter, I've got a fridge full of ice cold ready beer. It's a little bit of a fanboy fridge, I'm afraid. There are some others in here. There's I have got a shelf for Vocation and Triple Point, because Triple Point's one of my favourite local breweries, and down there is some St Mars of the Desert, which is my other local faith brewery, and then in the door is just odd ones what I've been picked up, but I must take those yeast slants upstairs. So we're in, and I'm not as worried as I was when I don't know why I didn't do this when I made it the first time. There's plenty of clearance there, look, loads of clearance, so I can get a cap over there. And what I am going to do this time, I am going to keep the thermal cutout, because the HLT only ever gets up to about 80 degrees maximum, and that's even kind of like for a sparge. So normally I'll be chucking it for about between 72, 74, maybe 76, just to get it down to so the strike temp in the mash tun's about right. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some spades on here, and fill it with water. And I'm definitely thinking now, I suppose it depends on what the base is like. Do you know, I've never turned one of these upside down. Well, fucky doodle do. Look at that. That could be. Actually, it depends. Now, the question's going to be now, obviously, do you know, I'm not sure it will work, you know, because I think that sits in there. The distance here to here, this lays flat sort of on the bottom. Now it's alright on there, but because this edge here, I think it might end up, and I don't want to cut a hole in it and then try and find out. Please, someone, suggestions please, otherwise it is going to be hole in the side. I don't mind a hole in the side, it means then I can standardise on spare screw fix. It's just about an extra 50-60 quid for the tri-clamp thing to be welded on, and then the thing that holds the... Anyway, answers on a postcard please. No, not on a postcard, that would be silly. Down here, down below, that would be good. Put your thoughts down there please. Crikey, this is turning into another one of those epic marathon videos. Decided to keep it, so we've got a new earth connection, and then here I've kept the obviously the thingy bob thermal cutout, because it's not going to go very high, and that I've now trimmed down, should go over. It fits perfectly, but what we do need to do is check it, see if we've got a clearance. Yes, we've got a clearance. That's good enough. Check it on that axis as well, because we don't know if one of the sides is lower. Good, so we've got a good couple of mil. That's right. We will now seal this with sticky gunk, we have got, where did I put it? Oh, this stuff, which essentially it's just like silicone sealant, except it's black, which makes it more sexy, obviously. And I'll shoot the lid this time, cover, safety cover, and it's okay up to 300 degrees. It's actually a mate of mine does some testing up at Sheffield University, and they test all this sort of shit. I think they've tested this up to about 800 degrees. But this won't be going up anywhere over wherever that thermal cutout cuts out. So gunk it all up. Actually, before then, what I might do is fill it full of water and make sure we have got a perfect seal. I think we probably have, but it'd be nice just to test it. So I'm going to pop some water in there. I'll pop it on a workmate, pop some water in there, and then if it's all good and we don't get any drips, which isn't good when you've got this electricery stuff, then I'll silicone the protective cover on, and then we shall test it out. Exciting, eh, boys and girls? Oh, I nearly weed myself. This is the moment of truth, boys and girls. First fill with a water, and then, oops, right, well, we'll check it when it's full. Right. Seems drying off. Can't really do anything on film, but yep.
Any drips?
No, right, we're good with that then. All tested with the electricery metery and stuff, and sealed. I've made a bit of a neater job than last time. I have to admit, last time it was all done spur of the moment. Anyway, I'm going to leave that overnight to cure, but I thought I'd have a little look at how the little brewery will look with the new kegs. I will have to extend the ends, but that's okay. I'm happy with that. I don't mind. Not quite as happy with this on here. It has been compromised and it's been welded there. Look, you can see. It's a bit of a shitter. I'll see what it's like on the inside when I've cut the top off. But you know, it's going to be the HLT. I can passivate it. 100 litres. I'll just stick loads of phosphoric acid in there, so I can repassivate it. I'll see what it's like on the inside when I zip the lid off. It is not. I mean, compared to these, I thought these were fairly bad when I pulled them out of the canal. This, it's had a better time. So I'll look at the best profile. It doesn't matter because of what I'm going to use it for, and in a sense, you know, the aged sort of look will not detract from it. I'm just a bit pissed off. I'm glad that I didn't notice this before, but I'm just glad that it's not one that Chris took, because like I said, I don't know what the inside's like, but put it sort of that way, it doesn't look quite as bad. It's got a bit of a dint here, but you know, I say it adds to the character. I'll fully examine this one in a bit. This is the one we're going to use as the copper. But yeah, it should all be alright on there. Very sorry, this has turned out to be one of those stupidly long videos again, hasn't it? But like I always say, I hope it's more interesting than daytime television. That's the only reason I make these, really, because I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not really anything in particular. So I just hope you find this interesting. If you do, that'd be fantastic. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so. Hit the bell and hit like, and leave a comment about whether or not I've worked out, by the way, how I'm going to check whether or not one of those will fit. Just very briefly, sorry, I know I've started again, haven't I? I'm going to cut all those bits off level inside, and then kind of like measure the distance across from, no, I don't need to cut those level, do I? I just need to measure the distance from where this will sit to the rim of this, and then measure the distance on underneath there that you saw earlier. So that's what I'm going to do with that. This video isn't over yet. There's something else I need to do, isn't there? There's something that everybody is going to want to know. These are a bit of a find. 4 tins of Elvis juice, £3. Well done, Charlotte. But this is what we want to know. This is the plum porter, what I did to kill trying to get it out of the thing, because I'm a bit of a clumsy muppet. Let's get it in a glass and see what we think. Plum porter, day 2 of the advent calendar, killed by me. What we want to know is, what's it taste like? It tastes bloody lovely, that's what it tastes like. In actual fact, strange. I've got some of the plum porter before. This isn't as plummy, I don't think. It's strange, but I think it tastes better for it. I know that sounds weird. Oh, that's lovely. Hang on. Yeah, no, that's all right. That's pucker. I'll try not to fuck any more of them up, Chris. Right, that's it, guys. I know, sorry, it's been a stupidly long video, but I've been diving into it on and off all day. I've had other things to do today. I've had a couple of old-fashioned group telephone calls. How good is that? Until tomorrow, when we will test this and then get a brew on. Thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. And like I said before, hit the button and the bell and the subscribe, and get your mum to subscribe. All your kids, all your mates as well, and your cat, please. That would be great. Sorry. Pushed it too far. Shut up, Bailey. That's the vlog for Wednesday, the 2nd of December. Thanks for watching, guys.